Happy Eid al-Fitr to all our Muslim viewers. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Tukba in the building. How you doing? Tukba Makodige. What's going on?
I'm doing very good. Looking forward to the Limitless Women Conference tomorrow at Orientals. It's going to be a very interesting one. It's organized by my mentor, Grace Ofori, and she's so excited. Like, my husband was listening to, she did not know my husband was listening to the conversation. My husband was listening to the conversation and he was like, so, I said, yes, I love her energy. But, you know, when you're working towards something and God just creates some kind of favored alignment. Right. So I'm looking forward to meeting many people tomorrow. And, of course, you know that our Easter sale is still ongoing. We're selling buy two, get one free up until the end of this month. Salary week we're entering, so if you want to invest, let's talk.
This is a good time. It's a good time to.
How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. I'm grateful to God. I'm getting ready for my second batch of the group accountability coaching. So I decided to do this Facebook ads. The thing eats money. My money was just going in USD. $11, $25, $11. I'm like, what? But I'm good to go. Yeah, charges, because I had to pay for the Facebook ads, and I get a lot of inquiries.
The whole of social media.
Yes, I get a lot of. I was getting a lot of inquiries. People asking when is the training starting? Starting in May. You know, how long is it going to be? It's for a month. I'm going to be holding your hands for a month to help you break those limiting beliefs and break into financial success, so to speak. So when we take out those beliefs from the subconscious that has layered it and stopped you, then you are open to receiving from the universe.
But did you get what I said earlier?
Yeah. Now if it was Nigeria,
what you said, adverts. She's paying for adverts.
For adverts, yeah.
So she was paying for
what I was thinking in my head is that they were
charges.
No. Paying for adverts.
She paid for adverts.
Sure that's
But you're looking very.
You think?
Yeah.
We love our tailor that did it.
It wasn't tailor. I picked it up the rack.
Ready
to wear.
Really
yeah, thank you. I mean, I wore it.
Since you bought it, don't mention it now. It's our people that we can.
Yeah, exactly. Mentioning name before we get upset with you.
Samto Mariam is in now, so let's go on a break. When we come back, she'll join the conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. Welcome, Mariam. How you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Good to have you
here.
on the show.
And happy Eid Mubarak.
Yes, I know that the traffic stopped you, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Okay, Buhari axes Adamawa wreck. Orders security chiefs probe. Ahead subsidy removal. FG plans 6 months petrol stockpile. Lagos issues 5 billion bond certificates to retirees. Government to evacuate Nigerian students from Sudan. Bako Wakoma Okotete, 10 others in transition committee. Defense headquarters, May 29th inauguration of Tinubu's sacrosanct. President Tinubu, Governor Sultan call for peace at Eid al-Fitr. Okay, which story are we starting with in the nation?
Let me start with, as we all know, there's an ongoing war in Sudan. The Sudanese army and the rapid support forces, are fighting each other, and many people have been killed so far. Many civilians have been caught in, and we have Nigerian students in Sudan. And our federal government is saying that through the chairman of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, Mrs. Abike Daberewa, has said that government is concerned about the fate of students in the war-ravaged country, and also explained that they're doing everything that they can, to make sure that we start preparing to evacuate them. She also said that NEMA is in touch with the Nigerian Commission in Sudan to see how that can, start off soon. But she's also advising Nigerians and students there to just keep calm and be security conscious while this is ongoing. I hear Japan and Uganda is already preparing to evacuate their citizens as well. So we're praying for them and hope they get home safe.
Safe, amen. So the outgoing federal government plans a 6 months petrol consumption reserve to mitigate the effect of the impending subsidy removal. We know that the subsidy removal is expected to take effect July 1, which is more than a month after the May 29th exit of this current President Muhammadu Buhari. The government also has earmarked 3 trillion for subsidy payments in 2023 budget between January and June. Now, some experts, including the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, have argued that removing the subsidy will bring down Nigeria's foreign debt and stimulate investment in the industry. But they are asking that the government cushions the effect for Nigerians, ordinary Nigerians who otherwise this will really affect. So the plans were announced by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, Ambassador Gabriel Aduda, at the press briefing marking the end of the 6th Nigerian International Energy Summit in Abuja. According to him, the government will ensure a minimum of 6 months transparent how they want to cushion the effect for Nigerians and how they are going to use the money realized from the subsidy removal to impact other aspects of the economy for everybody in total. We must try as much as possible to put everything on paper and make it clear so that we don't feel like there's something going on, you know, that we're not aware of.
Okay, let me take the story on Adamawa. So if you recall, INEC has been trying to get the president to intervene on the issue that happened in Adamawa by either sacking or suspending the REC. So President Muhammadu Buhari himself has approved the immediate suspension from office of Barrister Yunusa Ari, resident Electoral Commission of Adamawa State. He says while that happens, they're going to continue start investigation. So he has instructed the DSS to begin immediate investigation and prosecution if found liable of this error. If you recall, the Barrister Yunusa Ari had wrongly announced Aisha Binani as the governor-elect of Adamawa State without total collation of the results, and he was not even the returning officer who is the one legally authorized to make that announcement. And since then, INEC has been calling for the prosecution of Mr. Yunusa Ari. But now presidency has intervened, and he's been suspended while investigation is ongoing.
The president and president-elect, as well as all the governors, are celebrating with the Muslim community Happy Eid al-Fitr, but they're also using this moment to call for peace within the country. They are, the Sultan as well calls for peace within the country, saying, you know, over the past 30 days, there's been an observation for all Muslims, and that we're hoping that even after the fasting period is over, peace will continue to reign.
Okay, moving on to the Punch. Sudan conflict, we took that 1,262 Nigerian students demand evacuation and 330 residents killed. Moon sighted in Saudi Arabia, Muslims marked the Eid al-Fitr on Friday. Banana Island developer planned to rake in 22 billion naira in revenue. Ogun community 1 year blackout lingers over Ikeja Disco and Badon Disco disagreement. National Assembly inducts lawmakers elect by May 7th. Military will.
The armed forces had high command said that the country was safe in spite of the insinuations by the United States of America. And then he also says that the military, he also says that, okay, this sure there's peace and tranquility. So he's given us quite a lot of assurances that it will be peaceful. And as of right now, what they have on ground, giving intelligence, we have nothing to worry about security-wise, and they are on ground. He says that they're also aware of things that are about to happen, and they stop that in the process. And for those who even go as far as ahead to carry weapons from one point to the other, they have caught a few of those ones. They've been arrested. And he says that, you know, they're just on ground and Nigerians have nothing to worry about, especially as the transition is, you know, is upon us.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7. Ikechukwu Sunday Okonkwo, aka Cross. Now your intro without
Wow.
So there's a name that thing that's.
I'm just drinking because you say I should drink. There's no particular answer.
You think it's only that can be wicked?
What's the answer?
Subterfuge.
Eh?
Yeah, they claim you did, but you said it just happened. That
And it's called what again?
subterfuge.
Such a feud.
SUBTERFUGE.
So you look me finish from head to toe. You look at a person who go know what to be called such. Yeah?
The nude wasn't like a game plan. Or...
I promise you,
Bec-
it was
bec-
actually.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty.
Landlords and residents in the community were seen to be lamenting the development, and they're appealing to the power firms to restore power in the community that they have been experiencing this blackout since February 2022. According to the story as well, said the situation has been making life difficult for the community, their businesses. A lot of them are spending so much to procure diesel and petrol, and most of them have relocated from that environment to another place so that they can do their businesses. Now, because of what has been happening, they asked the Ibadan Disco how they could solve the problem. And they said that they needed funds to be able to, get power into that community. So they tried to speak to the residents, for each resident to contribute 5,000 naira per household, which took quite some time, but then they agreed to it and started contributing, and they were able to raise 50 million, which they had taken to the Ibadan Disco to tell them that they have the money, so they need them to come and restore power. And they also mentioned that the Ibadan Disco did not request for that money. They just felt that they needed to support so that they can get power. But they have started, they needed an approval from the TCN, and the Ibadan Disco has started working on it. But there was also another delay that started happening because they needed a particular, I'm trying to get the details here, they needed to get an approval for a transmission bay. It's called the transmission bay, and that belonged to the Ikeja Disco, and that's where they've been having the issue. But I think Ikeja Disco needs to understand that it's for the good of Nigerians, so to speak. Even if you are in charge, it's your area that they are encroaching into to get this approval, help them so that their people can be sorted. They've been without electricity for over 1 year now. We're all working together. It's one Nigeria.
Okay, let me just move on. National Assembly will be inducting the new members starting May 7th. According to them, they're going to do it in 2 batches. It's going to take, the first batch A will be from May 7th to 13th, and batch B will be from May 14th to 20th. It was just quite interesting to see that they need a full week of induction into the new roles they will be taking on as lawmakers. The objective of the induction and inauguration is to expose members-elect to the functions of the National Assembly, its practices, procedures, as well as services available to them. I think it's really, to be excited for those new entrants into the National Assembly to just go through this process. And I'm really happy for them. I'm hoping.
Yeah, it costs a lot of money when we have new entrants.
Well, I guess it does to induct them and all that, and they have to give them up new. They have to, because the old lawmakers sometimes live with some of these items.
Yeah.
They have to replace them.
Why?
There are issues. They're not, I'm not sure.
And also the time lag of getting to understand the process of
System.
I hear that the cost of training is quite high.
You should be understudying already if you want to be.
I have a story in Punch. Let me take the international oil companies have, over the past 7 years, they've taken away $21 billion out of Nigeria and invested in other countries. One of the key reasons that has happened is because we did not have we refused to sign the PIA bill. So between 2014 to 2022, there's been a consistent reduction in the number of international oil companies bringing in capital expenditure funds into Nigeria. We also experienced a major decline into COVID because many people started defunding fossil fuel developments within our country. Specifically, 74% of our total annual upstream capital expenditure dropped. So in 2014, we're getting 27 billion in a year to less than 6 billion in 2020. Major drop. Another thing that we should note is that as at 2019, Nigeria had 17 active oil rigs, and these oil rigs were #1 in Africa that has active oil rigs. But this dropped to 11 in 2020, 9 in 2021, but it's picking up gradually. So the conversation is that based on the signing of the PIA bill, we are now having a bit more, but we've lost a whole lot. And
okay, more quickly now to Vanguard. Buhari, okay, suspension of Adamawa Rec. Took that story already. May 29th, handover, Tinubu unveils 14-man committee. Military battle ready for threats against May 29th handover. Idul Fitri, Buhari, Tinubu, Obi, NLC, others felicitate with Muslims, call for unity. Judiciary creating crisis in Labour Party, says DG, LPPCC, and Oshuntokun. Fish farmers, CBN differ on access to Anchor Borrowers Fund. Okay. Which story are you taking?
I've got the May 29th handover. Tinubu unveils 14-man committee. So in order to ensure a seamless transition come May 29th, the president-elect has announced a 14-man presidential inauguration committee. And according to the report, it's comprising of eminent Nigerians to plan a week-long event that would usher him, that's the president-elect, and his VP-elect, Senator Kashim Shettima. There's so many names here. I'll just take maybe the first
Just 13,
two.
yeah.
We have with us, they said on the committee, there's the Deputy National Chairman North for APC, Senator Abubakar Kyari. He's the coordinator and director of finance and budget of the committee. Then the executive director, Nexim Bank, Stella Okotete, will serve as the head of secretariat. There's also one which I find interesting, Mrs. Zainab Buba Marwa, wife of chairman of NDLEA. She would be coordinating the pre-inauguration dinner and gala night.
And Dr. Betty Edi is also going to be in charge of, I think, medical or something. But it's just, it was nice for her to be in that committee.
That's good. So
it's quite a diverse group of people.
I have a story. So fish farmers are blaming their inability to access the Anchor Borrowers Fund, ABF, on their uncooperative attitude of commercial banks and the Central Bank of Nigeria. Speaking exclusively to Vanguard on the sidelines of the Norwegian Seafood Seminar in Lagos, the fish farmer said that despite meeting the requirement to access the fund, the banks have refused to meet their financial needs. One of them, the managing director of Fry J Consults, a Lagos-based fish farming company, Mrs. Jerry, said that after 3 years of the company perfecting all they required, all their documentations were ready, she has not yet been given the application for the loan. The application hasn't been approved yet, and it seems like the CBN is in connivance with the commercial banks not to give to them. So a lot of them spoke concerning this. They said that the bank cannot even tell them the reason their loan applications are not approved. They just keep going back and forth, and they've been waiting for some time. I know because of the nature of the business, they've gone to procure some of the equipment that they need for their fish farming, and yet the CBN does not respond to their request. And also, some of them said that they know that the CBN focuses on where they get majority of their collateral. You need to come with something tangible where they make more money, but they need to understand that fish farming is different. And the government so far provided like some bodies to stand in as collateral, but CBN and the commercial banks are not paying attention to them. CBN, on the other hand, said that we have given money to some of these farmers and it was difficult to get them to pay. We had to start setting up committee after committee to handle the matter. I think.
I want to take the Labour Party story. So the Director General of the Presidential campaign for the Labour Party, Chief Akin Oshutokun, spoke yesterday and said that the crisis rocking Labour Party was purely based on the judgment by Justice Hamza Mauzu. Said that the party was stable, everything was going well until some people took a case to him, and rather than the judge who understands the situation, looking at the caliber of people that brought the case to him, should not have said that the statement by the judge, which, let me quote the statement, said the judge said that the Labour Party chairman and the ESCOs should stop parading themselves as national officers of the party, which is what they believe created the crisis, that the judge should have been more discreet in how he handled it, that the only issue had been that judge statement. If he didn't make that statement, there was no crisis in the party.
Okay, Nigerian Tribune, very quickly. Let's find a story of not taking. Buhari approves suspension of REC. Bandits have taken over 6,000 square kilometers of our land, says Sokapo. Rainstorm kills 6, sweeps boy away in Delta. Government killed 2 immigration officers, university lecturer in Taraba. Man kills himself with insecticide over family desertion in Wari. Naira redesign, we lost 50 billion naira to egg glut, says poultry farmers. FG concessions on nature port. And you are more responsible for Benue killings autumn blast presidency. Let me take the story of this man, Mr. Ogenovo. He killed himself because his wife and children deserted him. According to neighbors, his wife and children left him in January, and since then he has been almost different from his usual self. According to the story, he said that his wife left him possibly because of his addiction to alcohol and constant battery. And when she left him, the court said that his wife could no longer condone the abuse, and she left. But as she left, she left with their eldest son just to be with the father. However, on this particular day, the man tried to call his eldest son several times. He didn't answer the man because he was busy in his shop. Just for him to get back home in the evening and realize that the man had drank insecticide and killed himself. According to the boy, he had tried to kill himself sometime back, a few weeks back, with hanging, but they couldn't get him help, and now he. So it's a mental health issue, and these are situations where men, especially, must seek for help. You know, especially in men in this situation, many of them actually have
interfamily interventions. We watch movies and families will gather and say we need to help you because
but if you are aware, alcoholic, and you already feel like the family hates you. You probably won't go to family, but you should be able to seek help professionally.
By himself. Now, wow.
Okay, we have to run. Is there any story that is well? Let's move on. I think that is all we can take on Front Page Review this morning. When we return, move on to our guest, the sponsored segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ask questions if I want to ask questions, and if it's something that I saw coming, I may not even ask questions. I may just I may even tell you I saw this.
What if it's in person? But then would it make a difference where? So like this person might just say you people can just be on Feminism bridge on a bike and the person say, babe, I cannot do it again, and you lose range. So what would change the scenario for, like, does it matter where? Do you want to have like a fancy dinner like the film you were meant to be talking about? Or do you want to be on the street?
No, carry me go fancy dinner.
Or you might just una dey run for treadmill.
Or you na dey jog.
You tell you lose for your web.
Now I don't turn attempted murder.
So which would it be? Because I'm like, in person you have the closure that you want and the few injuries.
Guys, that's one place. It could be inside the car. You can sit inside the car.
Why car? Why not bike?
Who will be driving?
Why bike?
Who will be driving at this
point? The car will
point?
be stationary.
Pray I'm not the one driving.
The car will be
pray.
stationary.
Because I go master. You can't be telling me like me. I'm going to drive near water. You must consider.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the one who can make time stand still forever, Mr. Kelechi Amadi. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, my brother.
You love that intro, Abi?
Yeah. It was great.
Okay,
Thank you.
We try like that.
Thank you.
Now my question, which I feel is a cheap question.
Oh, go ahead.
What does ISO stand for?
That is it. I think I will drink.
No, you're joking.
I'm not joking.
Kelechi Amadi. No. Shay, you didn't whine me. You're whining me now.
I think I will drink.
Huh?
No problem.
Okay.
I've always known this as ISO. I never bothered to know what it means. I know what it means, but I never bothered to know what the acronym is. Tell me the brand of camera that I use, so much so that I even became an ambassador. That's very easy. It's out there.
It's supposed to be,
yeah. I just said, let me give you this one as a token of my appreciation.
Sony.
Drink!
I'm not done. You did not say final answer.
It's final answer.
You did not ask me if that was my final
You
answer.
don't have any choice again. It's only
Nikon.
how many cameras do they have? My
Nikon.
friend to drink. I gave you a very easy something.
Nikon now.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So,
Thanks for staying with us. It's Friday. We'd love to talk about celebrities, but nothing happening in the celebrity kingdom anyway. So there's some interesting conversation we heard about, and we thought was nice to discuss it on the show, to hear different perspectives. So we saw that many men and women in their late 30s, 40s, 50s, even in the 60s, are currently living without a life partner, a relationship, or even a spouse. Some of them don't have wives, no husband, they've never been married, no children. And for some, it's deliberate, they're not interested. Others, they just didn't find the right partner. And then you look out in the society, you realize that in some groups, women or men are able to marry once or twice, find love, or even be a second or third wife. And then when they do that, it might not be the perfect situation. But when they get married to maybe as a second wife, third wife, or maybe the second marriage, at some point, they feel a sense of fulfillment that at least I have been able to have 5 kids, 3 kids, I'm older now, and I feel like I have contributed my own quota to this world. Then, in some other groups, everybody's looking for that perfect spouse, perfect wife, perfect husband. And then they keep waiting and waiting and waiting. They hit 40, they hit 50, 60, and then when they get to 60, they start thinking, maybe if I had just been somebody's second husband, maybe I had been somebody's second wife, maybe if I had done that earlier in life, I wouldn't be in this situation where I have multiple marriages, multiple what are called polygamy, where we can understand and help others to find that their desire. As I said, it's not for everybody. Not everybody wants to settle down. Others are interested. Should we allow polygamy? Should it become an accepting culture across board? That's a conversation. You can join us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-7694. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read the tweets. You know, this is our topic, eh? I whenever I talk about this polygamy thing, I always remember my mom. Whenever she and her sister are bantering, they always yabbing her, you only stayed with one husband. You just, you know, that you were just allowing nonsense. You know things happen. You know, men, husbands and wife fight. And they'll be telling my mom that how can you just stay with Alawo? You know, because it was the norm. Her sister, I mean,
would have moved on.
Once somebody do one small nonsense slap, next person, please. They don't wait to toil in their marriage. They move on, and many of them are like that. They have this.
I don't like.
So I'm just saying that's what happens.
Toiling.
So some people toil in their marriage. They feel that I must toil.
Suffering.
So what are your thoughts? How do we have a long-term solution to these kind of issues?
So the example you gave is different, you know. But back to the core story of mature singles being open to being second wives. I think that's like the right way to capture it. And I think that there's nothing wrong with a mature single choosing to be a second wife. Actually, age gives perspective. There are things that I can do now. There are conversations I can have now that I couldn't think about it. I couldn't even consider it when I was in my 20s. And I'm sure when I'm in my 50s, it will change. People say when I got to my 50s, I realized I'm not taking anything from anybody. As we get older, we gain more perspective. We realize what is important and what is not important. Many single women, as they are getting into their 50s, choose to have children because they realize, I can't keep waiting for this Mr. Right to show up. Aisha say they did it, and she was open about it. She documented her journey towards motherhood, that she really wants to be a mother and she wanted to do it in a family, but it didn't work. She couldn't get into a relationship and her time was going, and so she chose to have her child outside wedlock. When we get older, everything that we're saying we'll begin to see it differently. And I think that is allowed to allow people to do that. Now, it cannot be generalized. You cannot tell everybody that polygamy should become a norm, but there are quarters where polygamy is normal. There was a friend, my husband was saying, he met to believe that The man is a Christian and he has over 4 wives, and they have their different houses in Benin, and they know, so there are people already doing it and they've accepted it as it's okay for them. Some people watching right now, probably in their 30s, will say, no, I can never, this is not acceptable. But in their 50s, they would gladly become second wife somewhere or marry a divorcee. Within Christendom, we're more open to marrying someone who's been divorced or something. If an older single person, we saw it with Kumuyi, Pastor Kumuyi of Deeper Life. His wife was a very, very matured single woman who's been waiting, and when somebody died, she stepped in. We see that more often, but we don't really accept the idea of you being in a polygamy.
Come to you, Mariam. What are your thoughts? Thank you for talking about capturing it.
Yeah, thank you. So for me, I would like to find out if the question is about single women alone. Are there single men in this group?
Yeah.
40s, 50s who are, and are they willing to be second husbands to some women?
Well,
because I don't understand why every time we are asking polygamy, there is something called polyandry. If it's such a huge problem, are we saying that men too need to shock themselves with another family so that they can have, a relationship? I'm talking about polygamy and asking people when they are much older if they are open to being second wives. Are we asking the one and only wife of the man if she's accepting this woman who has now finally come of age and is thinking, you know what, I sort of like your family and I would like to be a part of it? Are we going to now have that sort of conversation? For me, conversations like this are it's just conversations.
Let me help you there, Maria.
Yes.
For a woman who has achieved, she's married her husband, they built a business together, her kids are grown, they've done their masters, they might be getting married very soon, and she's achieved, and she's also been an MD of her husband together. They're both accomplished. And then there's a young lady who her husband has become very fond of. And they're maybe friends, they go to this together. You can't really travel the world because, hey, you're focusing on the business here. And he loves her and they go and they fell in love and he's in the US, whatever it is. Would you as a woman who is accomplished, you've seen everything you want in life, God has given you in abundance. All your husband is now asking for, I want an additional, maybe because you can't flip, you can't, whatever reason you have. He now wants somebody else. So, and you as a woman, if you feel, it's okay, it's fine. There's nothing you guys want to do that we've not been there, done that. Is it okay at that time for you to say, please go ahead, you can have her?
Can I ask
may I ask that, can I also, as a woman who is traveling the world, my husband is accomplished, he's doing well, he likes to stay back because he's facing the business, but I'm young, I'm fly, I have everything. Am I allowed to have a young man who is able to fly with me and hang with me? Because Olga is really hardworking and business oriented and is at home. Is that acceptable?
Absolutely.
It's not acceptable. No, the thing is not realistic, because it's not realistic on that side. I also feel that many times we have sat on this table and we have heard women who have cried, I gave him all my best years, and now in my older years, when I expect my companion and everything, he wants to be wearing saggy jeans, the world with
it. It's okay. There are some women that are absolutely fine. Yes, initially you might be, but you're actually fine with it. So if there are people that can be fine with it, why can't we therefore normalize it at some point?
The thing is, we shouldn't be waiting for society to normalize things for us. We are the society. We normalize per head according to what works for you. When we finished Most Beautiful Girl in Nigeria in 2005, one of our friends decided to marry this married guy. And it was strange to us. We're still young. No, don't do this. We tried to convince her. She said no. She has picked her hustle. The man has a house in so and so place, has a wife. They have 2 kids. The man gets her a house in another place. Come visit her. So somehow, she moved abroad. It worked out. She married the guy. She moved abroad. She's raising her kids there. The man comes to visit. Do you know she's still happily married? The last time I saw her, she was glowing, girl.
And so are you.
Yeah, of course. Sweetie, I'm not talking about me. I'm just telling you that she was glowing. I was so happy for her that she found her peace and she found it on time. What would have happened at that time was to say, no, you're so young. And she was young, brainy, beautiful. You're so young, you're so beautiful. Why do you want to go and end up as a second wife? Why do you? But she was strong-headed to pick what she wanted, and she stuck to it. The thing is, we want to pick the good sides, but we don't want the backlash of the bad sides. It can come anyway. I could have been married to somebody who was beating me today and be frowning and be feeling bad, but it worked out well for me. I'm sticking to the consequences. Anything can change tomorrow. I'm sticking to my choice and my consequences. So instead of waiting,
did you ask the girl how the first wife glowing? The woman?
I don't know. I didn't ask. The first wife is not my friend.
It's a valid question.
Exactly, but she's not my friend.
We need to know she's
it's this one that I know and I saw, and that opened my eyes to the fact that the Westerners came here and brought their culture, told us polygamy was evil. We should stick to monogamy. Today, they themselves that brought the monogamy have flipped from monogamy to all the numerous things that they are doing, and we see it. And then it's a far cry from being a human being and being moral. And we're asking ourselves, is this monogamy working? So you as an individual have to decide for yourself if this monogamy will work for you or not. I have friends, I have single friends, I have a lot of friends because, you know, in my business, you meet them, they become your friends, we hang out from time to time. There's some of them that I see that I am happy for. They are not married. They are not even depressed about it. They are living. They are taking up their career. They are doing their coaching. Anytime we see, and they are so at peace with themselves that I can bring them home to be my friends. They can stay with me. I'm not afraid of anything because they have accepted that if it's going to come, it's going to come. But I'm not going to stop my life because this aspect of my life has not come. So one of them even said, I'm not even interested in getting married recently. And I was like, Auntie, when did you change? He said, no. But I always told myself that this life, this freedom that I have, I don't want to lose it.
All right, so we're going to go on a break. When we come back, I want us to really dig further. Should the person whose husband is being taken by someone else?
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni Yeni Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power! Ginger!
Take it.
Today we'll go here.
Hey, I don't read you.
Are you sure?
I'm not here to answer questions, I'm here to drink.
We're in trouble today.
Wait, what's your age?
I was close now.
I
said 1975.
He said 73. He said 75. Fellas wasn't even born till 75.
So will I drink half?
You go drink. Take. Make I help you. Russian.
No be half.
Which half? You will make me drink. I'll give you a hint.
Lights in no. Nepa Road. Nepa Road in Abeokuta.
First of all, my brain cannot memorize everything.
A big black bug.
A big black dog.
Bug. A big black bug.
Oh, sorry. A big.
He don't start.
Hey, ọmọ fella. Ọmọ Aníkúlá Pókùtì. Wọ́n rò pé kíni kékeré yìí.
It's my audition. It's not my audition.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so I wanted us to bring this back to understanding the possible hypocrisy in this whole conversation. Because whether we like it or not, it is happening where, especially now that many people are traveling, are jackpotting, and people are saying, okay, you and the kids go to live in Canada, I'm here in Nigeria, let me continue to hustle, whatever I have. And I know so many families are staying apart. So whether we like it or not, directly or indirectly, second wife or second husband is coming into play, because I know somebody whose wife has been gone for at least almost 10 years now. There is no way, and I know this auntie is now babe. There's no way this auntie is in the free world meeting. She might not meet a Nigerian, she might not be doing with a Nigerian, but there's maybe one of Maurice, one guy, we know one John, Jack, that she's hanging out with. Because the truth is, whether we like it or not, it's happening. So until society faces the matter, until we face the matter, that there's a possibility that the spouse I left back is, let me just let him be, or let her be.
So before I wanted to comment on yes, I wanted to reiterate the fact that age changes. Really, age changes. The way a single girl at 20 is different from a single girl at 50. A single girl at 50 will be content to be a second wife and have someone to talk to at night. Because I spoke to someone in her 40s who was single, now married, and she was saying, Tokwe, I am lonely. She said, I'm lonely, that she's staying with her parents. She said, my parents have been married for over 50 years. They will be gisting inside. I can hear them laughing to Christendom. Our religious affiliations will keep us righteous. The three appearances of evil is body no be firewood. A woman cannot be with children for a whole year. You don't see her, and you are expecting how many years back to back? No, let's be real.
Yeah.
So that is also a perspective. Then the third perspective I want to bring in. When somebody becomes 60, 70, even with marriage, you are looking at it that I want to go and take care of my grandchildren. I want my grandchildren are in Canada, and my children don't have time to take care of them. I would rather do that. And if your husband now needs companionship, I better give him babe. Give the man babe, so that I can be responsible for my grandchildren. Sometimes perspective change based on the reality of what priorities changes.
Yeah.
I
really want us to talk about that first woman, because it's about this first wife, first husband. How they think, how they feel, and how we can begin to help them understand understand the reality of the times. They're looking at me like,
I don't know how to make it. Yes, I don't know how to tell them about reality. They know what the reality of the times are. And to say that because people are already doing it anyway in hiding, if you legalize it or normalize it, then it will stop. It would not stop. What will happen is that then you have polygamy, and then you still have side chicks upon this polygamy. It doesn't make it would not stop it. There's something also about stepping out on your marriage. It's not only about the fact that you need the first person is not there. It's not always about the first person is not there. It's that you just want to try something new, be with someone different at the detriment of what you already have. Why do people feel guilty when they do it? When people decide to work on their marriage, why do they say that they feel guilty? We're talking of these 60-year-old, 70-year-old women who are working hard and going away, and these 60-year-old, 70-year-old men who just need babes to take care of them. You think 60 or 70-year-old woman does not need babes to take care of men to take? No! Have you seen the people in 60-year-old? Look at working, for example. Have you seen the 60-year-old and the 70-year-old? They want a full, wholesome relationship. They want to have their own partner. They want to travel the world. They want to go and visit the grandchildren together and then say to the grandchildren, we're off on a yacht cruise for 3 months. We'll come back and see you. They want to take pictures for the gram as well. They want to dress up and hang out at parties together. And then when I finally reached that age with my husband, after I've taken care of the children, paid all the fees, and then he's gone off to be one younger because he needs to be with someone younger. Who says the loneliness that you're talking about that people have, sometimes they have it in marriage. When the man is supposed to be there to hang out with this woman, he's off being with the side chick because society has said that he needs someone younger to take care of him. It's just, I feel just the way society has said that a man needs someone younger, they need to also start to realize that a woman does as well.
Okay.
We say, Topaz, mentioned this, gave this scenario where they are living apart abroad, and the man, whether you like it or not, must have someone that he's seeing. But she failed. Somehow her mouth did not carry her to talk about the woman and the other side.
I said this.
No, he did not say it all. So then he wanted to say, but it didn't come out. The woman too needs somebody, but she's deciding that for the sanctity of this marriage and our vows and our values, I will stick to it. So that's what really we should be preaching.
Okay, so let me come to busy because I have a friend. He's a guy. Let me not mention his name. Please don't. Yes. He's single. He came last week. I think in December. He's married. Find wife now. Find me wife.
What's he want his wife do?
He said he's never been married, but he's just having issues because all the good girls he knows are married. Some of them are having issues in their marriage, and they come to him for comfort. And he's thinking he doesn't deserve you. You should have been with me. Now, but the truth is that listen, we're just having
I get you, baby. I get you.
So he is like, especially there was one in particular that he likes, and he was really hoping that she never married the guy she married because according to him, she deserved better. He would have treated her better. Now, if for any reason the man says, let us move to Canada, or maybe because he lives in the US, if they were let's move to Nigeria, to America, and the wife packed herself to the US, and he is in Nigeria, there's a possibility that I'm just saying, it doesn't make it right. This is immoral.
Yeah, but we're just saying that
there are some men who are not willing to settle for less because the woman they really love is with somebody else, and they're willing to wait it out.
Thou shalt not covet your neighbor's wife.
Thank you.
When there are people, they only love it because it's with someone else. That's their own. They don't take care of it.
Yes.
We know the Bible is against this conversation.
Yes. Okay.
We're just saying what is happening today. Yes, go ahead, BC.
Sometimes when it's in another person's compound, it's more appealing.
Exactly.
It looks very sweet. Can I have that mango? It's so ripe. If I get this mango, the way I will cherish it. You have one in your compound that you have not watered, you have not put manure, you have abandoned, but another man's own, another man that is slaving to water it, your eyes choking there, give your life to Christ. That's one. Secondly, I don't believe in working with societal expectations. I believe that we are all creators and co-creators with God, and we can, in alignment with what we're here for, design our own templates, follow our own blueprints. I always say this, not everybody is destined to marry. I always say it, they will come after me. I say I don't think everybody is destined to marry. I've seen people who struggled, entered the marriage anyhow, 1, 2, 3, 5 marriages all collapsed. They were not destined for that thing. It's not about the scarcity of good people around. It's just that is not the line they are supposed to toe. That's not their path. And so we must begin to go within ourselves to find out what works for us. So for me, I choose to create my own reality. And that's what I teach people today. Decide for yourself what is going to give you that fulfillment. Not because Miriam is married, I must choke my head inside. And I feel bad anytime I see her, she's hugging her husband, she's doing, and I feel, oh God, I'm so lonely. I cannot do this. There are people in that your shoe who don't feel that lonely. I went to Asaba recently to see my father. My father, marriage didn't work for him. He was looking young, was fly. He's got money to spend. I saw his babe. His babe is 28. She won't bone straight. I'm not joking. My head, all the money this man is collecting from me. My younger brother even just told me that he bought a car. After the car I gave him, he bought one.
Don't sell your father and then go and look for him.
They don't know where he guys is balling.
I said he's balling, and it was okay. I said, Daddy, how do you you sleep alone? Because your babe, she wasn't, her things were not in the house. I knew he was alone. I'm alone. She comes once in a while and goes. I said, are you okay? Say fine. I just take out stew in. Like he didn't complain or lament that when he was married. Me, I became a judge. That I think that's what piqued my interest in helping people with relationship.
I was
settling quarrel. I was giving advice. I was the body. Sometimes they would call me. I would not pick up. My husband said, "Talk to your daddy now." I say, "No, he just wants to complain about his wife." The wife will call me and complain. Now he hasn't complained to me in over 2 years. He's having a life of his own. Yes, he's living
on his own terms.
On his own terms. He created that reality. Maybe looking back and saying, "This marriage has not worked for me. I've raised children. They're all grown up and married. They are doing okay. Let me enjoy my life."
Okay, let me just pause you. I think I have a boss today. Come on, boss today. Are you there? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, sorry.
So, okay, I like where you took it.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's about you creating your individual reality. So if you're that woman who says, she's depressed, she's bitter, why would she be happy? Okay, maybe her own reality doesn't accept the fact that Oga wants to go and help himself. But there are some women whose reality is that, honestly, there's nothing you're giving me right now. But all I'm getting from you is companionship. There's nothing you're servicing me in any way. We both have money. My friendship with you is all I need at this age. And I'm fine with it. Whatever else you need, get somebody else to give it to you.
Yeah, so let me add something. One of the things that help you create your own reality is to first of all accept what is. The problem we have is that we don't want to accept the situation. You are waiting to be married, marriage is not coming, you don't want to accept it. You are in denial, you are flogging yourself, you think you have all the faults, you are depressed because you are not accepting that right now is not coming. So you have to start from where you are in creating a life that you desire, accepting what is. Okay, marriage is not coming now. Let me first of all take care of myself. It will come when it wants to come. And when you are in that space, you find that the things that you want really come because there's no struggle. You're not struggling.
Hardest substance in the body. Teeth are the strongest bones in the body.
Teeth is not a bone, actually.
Teeth can self-repair.
The strongest bone in the body. No, teeth is not a bone.
Final answer.
Teeth is not a bone. You know what came to my head now? That sound. Crickets.
So, editor, you can put that cricket sound there. You can still put it down too.
When was the first Gulda ultimate search? Editor?
Don't put any cricket sound. I'm talking. Okay, Per. How many times has Ghana qualified for the World Cup?
5 times. Hey, you can't do that now.
That's what it is.
Wait. Calm down. Why are you like this?
This is your team.
Small play now.
They will not
Somebody cannot play with you again.
They will not be impressed though. The team that you're supporting. And
Ghana will be alright.
Yeah, that's last.
Charlie? Cheers, Charlie.
Come closer. A little bit more. Perfect. I have exciting news for you. You asked for it and you got it. Your favorite breakfast show, Your View, will be going to 2 hours. We're going to have in-depth analysis of the newspaper review and more conversations on the hot topics.
the ladies of Your View and I will be stirring up our guests to get in-depth into all the various topics, and you, our viewers, will have the opportunity to call in and share your views. After all, it's your view. Join us on Your View, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for a fantastic conversation. Don't miss it.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking at
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still discussing this matter, and we're still going to, draw it a bit out further. But there's a part you said, accepting reality as a society. How do we are deciding by themselves, understanding and accepting, this is where I am. I would either preserve my egg and make a decision at the age of maybe 50 or 55. I begin to use, I get it matched and I have a child. Or says, you know what, I would rather just be a gigolo. There's some guy
over again in the course of this conversation is that you must don't live based on societal expectation. Create what will give you joy. Neduwoko's young beautiful wife as a young girl chose to marry an older man, a decision that she
I want to say something to this discussion. In fact, I like this discussion is that I'm older. It does not really matter again. Like me, growing up, I used to say, okay, I will marry somebody like this. But now it does not matter. To me, what matters to me is the way I'm being treated by a man. So there are times you married or something, but as you grow older, you see that the things you are value, it's not because we are morally, bankrupt or we are not morally balanced. I'm a Christian, but I believe that it's just a way of changing things that you used to believe or you don't believe. So sometimes people that, have issues getting married to a single guy. Right. Sometimes when they grow older, they find support in somebody that is married and they are happier with it. You cannot judge them, you cannot criticize them. Right. As long as they are, they give it legitimacy. They are not fighting, they are not hiding, they are not, the man must bring the woman to the table and that, okay, this is my reality. There are so many.
This conversation of creating your reality, and many times we use some of the examples that for themselves or believing in reality for themselves, that when you're on the outside looking in, you're like, why are you not willing to make important compromises? I am well educated. I went to Harvard. I'm a doctor. I cannot be with this sort of things. I'm not saying that it's a wrong message. I'm just saying maybe we need to elaborate on this creating realities more and talk about important compromises that human beings will make, whatever kind of relationship you're in, as parents to children, as spouses with each other, as partners, as a young girl or an older woman looking for a partner. Compromises happen. So what is this compromise? Creating reality also, when it's about if I'm the young woman who has seen someone's husband and I want to be in a polygamous marriage, and I'll say, I've created this reality, and this reality has affected this first wife who had created the reality for herself to be with this man, that they will grow together and become, so what are we saying?
Your reality shouldn't hurt somebody else.
Ideally, these things happen.
So the thing is, life na per head.
Yeah, exactly.
Sit in your stool and decide for yourself how you want your life to go. Life na per head. Another thing is, there's a way I wanted to couch it. I can't remember right now, but the thing about creating your reality is you alone can decide what is important for you. We always make that mistake of thinking this is a general importance to everybody. If you are married, you should be able to do this for your children. You should be able to do this for your husband. You should be able to do this for the world. It's a general norm. It should be important to you. Why is it not important to you? Why are you making this? Are you not seeing this? But you're seeing it from your own lens. And this person is saying, this is the standard I want to stick with. She is seeing it from her own lens. So there's no general importance. There's no general, you must stick it from A, B, C, D to E. That's how you must go. Life goes in, there's always the black, the white, and the gray. The grays are now showing to be even more abundant than everything, because this is human behavior. People will always determine what works for them per time. As you grow older, as you get more mature, as you get more exposed, things will change. So what is very important for you at a certain age will move. But then people who do not understand, and this brings me to parents who would sit down and they wish their children got married. They've spent so much training them, sending them to school and all of that. Happy. And they get to a certain age where they're expecting to have grandchildren. And these people are saying, I don't want to get married. Mommy, leave me alone. I don't want to get married. And the woman goes back feeling very terrible that she has failed. You have not failed. She's a full-grown human being who will make her own choices per time. You did not give birth to her because you wanted grandchildren. If he wants to come, it will come. But if it doesn't come, do you now start hating your child, or stop loving her, or start feeling that you are a failure? No, hold on, no. Because what we see is women feel that they are failures if their children get to a certain age and they're not married. What if it's not in her path to get married, and that marriage will truncate her?
Please,
or him?
You see, this sounds really nice on paper.
Yeah. I'm just
but
saying.
The reality, let's put it this way. You're a mother. All your life savings, you spent it to raise this girl, this beautiful girl.
Yeah.
And you hope that one day she's the kind of joy her father brings to you.
Yeah.
You hope that she meets somebody.
What if she
sent her to Harvard? She's doing great things. She's gone the world, and then she's back home in Nigeria. She's got a fantastic job, and then you feel that okay, it's time for you to settle down. But it's not because you're a failure. But she also have built a standard for herself. Yeah. You know, she's not going to get somebody to marry somebody that in her own doesn't have a first degree or can't even articulate his words properly. You know, that she has a standard. But then we're not having a conversation that should we force our beautiful, educated, exposed young ladies to bring down their standards because we want them to be married?
But that is what happens today. So you see people sitting down to say, hey, I know he has not made money. I know he does not speak supre. He has a Seeking and Sips accent. But please manage him. You are getting older. Your eggs are expiring. According to how go and freeze it. Please, just settle with him. Don't worry. We will touch him up. We will do this. And these young women get into these marriages, and after how many years, they break out because they did it in the first place to satisfy society, to satisfy their parents so that they are not a disappointment. And it really doesn't work out for them. What me, see, I have children. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it works out. But what me, I would advise, I am a mother today, and I would hope that my children find that love and get married. I want to have grandchildren, right? I hope that. But I'm not going to kill myself if it doesn't happen. What is going to be most important to me is that that child is happy. Good. Anytime I see my child, there's this light, there's this joy. That is the fulfilling thing for me. So however it comes, I'm going to accept it because I want the happiness of my child above all.
She said that. Let me say, I know of someone who her unhappiness is not because the child is not married. Her unhappiness is because the child is unhappy that she's not married.
That's a different thing.
No, but that's a lot of the unhappiness that mothers carry. Yeah. I'm looking at her, she's not happy. I'm looking at her and I know she needs a companion. And I can never give her that. So when she's unhappy, it's not because, oh, she has ticked out. I'm not saying that does not happen, but the majority is that I'm looking at my child who is not feeling fulfilled because she's not married. Then we go to the mountain. After all, we have parents who have said to their children who are not married and said to them, have a child. Yes, have a child. So it's not about the fact that they are insisting that she's married, it's that we want you to be happy. And many women, whether we like it or not, and I've seen it so many times, I used to think it was just, hearsay. But I've seen so many times, women really want companionship.
Yes, let me pause you for a second. I mean, who wasn't holding for a minute? Come on, Bumi, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Sorry for keeping. Go ahead. Need the volume increased, please.
Yeah, morning, lady.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. My comments are many and varied. First, I would like to talk about the issue BC picked up about creating realities.
Yeah.
I want to ask her, were my reality to be around her husband, what would be her reaction? Because I like the other thing Miriam was saying about being real about creating these realities. What if I found her husband and I said to her, and maybe she got news to know that so her husband wants to take another one because I have built my reality around her husband. I'm going to settle with him. He's married, but this is the person I love. What would be her reaction? Then secondly, I want to ask, what is the church or religion saying about all of this? So matured singles, whatever it is that it is worth. I'm unmarried and I'm well over 50. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bumi. So, Bumi, I'll let you respond to that other one, but let me go to the religion part. Interestingly, I was talking to one of my neighbors recently, and she was telling me that she had visited her family event, and then she saw a lot of her, she's a Muslim, a lot of her family members, her age mates, 40s, mid-40s, 50, and many of them were not married, but many of them were happily second wives and third wives. And she saw them, and they were happy, they were fulfilled, they were settled. They had the Muslims, yes, I said that Muslims. They had their children, they were there, and you know the confidence this situation sometimes gives from women, where you just see them, you feel like this woman, everything is just going on smooth, very easily with them. But she herself is a Christian, so her family is Muslim. So she was now telling me that, Maria, do you realize that there are Christian counterparts who I know in church who are exactly this woman's age?
They are sad.
They are depressed and they are down. And I'm thinking to myself that if it's like that, it's like Islam has almost helped these women. That even though you cannot find this your perfect, perfect rib, at least if you might meet somebody else, you feel a bit more fulfilled, because sometimes God has created us to give birth, to give life to others. So she was now comparing. She was comparing and contrasting that in the Islamic religion has accommodated women like that. But how come in Christianity, our women in their 40s and 50s are forced to find this significant other that is their rib? Then they're going to have the option of managing with somebody or finding love elsewhere.
So let me ask Sadi, I think somebody else will answer your question. Let me answer the question of the caller. Creating reality does not mean your reality will be static. Everything moves. We are in the universe and everything vibrates at different frequencies, and they move, they keep moving, they keep changing. So if I have used me as an example now, I've created my reality that I'm going to be in a marriage with a man who love me, adore me, and cherish me. And somebody out there tomorrow decides to create a reality to come take my husband, and my husband chooses to follow the person to go. It doesn't mean that my life will suddenly truncate. I'm going to accept what is. If peradventure it didn't work out with me and him, I'm going to accept what is and change and recreate my reality. The idea is finding fulfillment per time, not doing it because society expects it to be. So another thing would be, let me just stick there, let me stay there because I already have a name, Mrs. Ubo. Let me just stay there and suffer all the things. They bring the woman home, I'm not happy, I'm just there because, so that they won't say that she fell out of her marriage. Where it goes, challenges will come. The only thing about life is, as human beings, we don't want to have these challenges. We just think once you hear, she's talking universe, creating reality, once you start, it's going to be perfect. But of course it's not going to be perfect. You will have challenges. Things will happen that you don't like, you didn't see coming, no matter how much you're prepared for it. But are you flexible enough to adjust to the current reality and then change it the way that it goes for you, according to your template? That's what I'm saying.
When you say creating reality, it doesn't mean that you are refusing what is on ground. It means that you don't see life as it's happening to me. You know, that this person made a decision and then it has truncated my own reality. No, you understand that things would happen, and then I will take cognizance of what I've seen and create a future that I desire based on what is on ground. Life is not happening to you when you know you're a co-creator. You're a co-creator of your reality.
Accept it. That's going to be. When we come back, we continue with this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned.
So, Have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table. So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports.
Come closer. A little bit more. Perfect. I have exciting news for you. You asked for it and you got it. Your favorite breakfast show, Your View, will be going to 2 hours. We're going to have in-depth analysis of the newspaper review and more conversations on the hot topics. The ladies of Your View and I will be stirring up our guests to get in-depth into all the various topics, and you, our viewers, will have the opportunity to call in and share your views. After all, it's your view. Join us on Your View, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for a fantastic conversation. Don't miss it.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Oh my Lord, thanks for staying with us. Argument and vibration in the studio.
Vibrations.
Because this conversation, I didn't even think it was going to get this hot here. But anyway, let me bring it to another angle, and I'll come to you, Miriam, on this. You know, Bisi had said earlier somewhere that our traditional beliefs, the African way of doing things before the foreigners came. But you see, I shared a story recently also that my mentor was saying that when she just had a child, right, in the hospital, that other people in the hospital were saying to her, "Wow, your second is not here to assist you. You know, where's your second?" And she was like, "Which second?" She's like, because in their own mind, back in the day, fathers used to, they were reluctant to educate the girl child.
Yeah.
Because they felt that really you're supposed to just go and get married.
Yeah.
You know, and we fought it. Yeah. You have to educate the girl child. You know, but now, these girl children that we have all educated, They are now like leaders and makers. They're making their choices and now having that deep sense of I am not fulfilled. I've not found that perfect person. Everybody around me is not really up to where I am. My question to you, have we made a mistake of this empowering of our women?
You're saying, has modernity failed us? Has westernization failed us? Has religion failed us? Has, all the positives we thought we would gain, at what cost did we gain it? So I just think it's life. Everything you decide to do, whatever you decide to do, there will be benefits and then there will be fallouts. The first example of the woman who, is the marriage thing, the way we've always had multiple wives when we, traditionally. For many women, we talk about it all the time, for many women, they were unhappy in that arrangement because the arrangement was solely about the man and the man's happiness. And the woman was supposed to be there to just provide the happiness for the man. And if she stopped providing that happiness for the man, he could just move on from her to someone else. And that marriage, that type of marriage was based on the fact that no one thought the woman had dreams, had aspirations, had wants, or just even had anything for herself. That a woman was solely created to please the man. The women raise their voices and they're saying, you know what, I want to be a wife to a man that loves me. I want to be able to choose my mate. I want to be in a monogamous marriage. I want my husband to love me and adore me for me. And
not foreign.
Wait, and it may be foreign. I'm not saying it's not. But like life, it keeps evolving. We are influenced by different things. Maybe when the slave trade came, it became a religion, of course, we're influenced by things. And some things we picked and we thought, this is good. After all, slavery has ended for a long time. Colonialism has ended a long time ago. And we're still holding on to some things. And we're still praying that our children will hold on to this new way of life. Because we have seen the benefits of it, especially to women. We talk about the justice system just the same. Where we're saying mob action, that's the way it used to be. We'll just drag the person to the market square, beat the person, kill the person. But now we have a justice system that sort of gives up something. But if you look at it over time, what women have had to sacrifice over time, the woman today and the woman in 1960 and the woman in 1940s, would the woman in 1940s wish she was the woman in 1960s?
Now, let me find a way to come into that, Mariam, because I was asking like who defines what's unhappy? Because the truth is that the woman who had her entire life is just to have children and make this man, this her king. She was created to make this her king happy. She knows nothing else. I mean, I remember I sat down here and said, listen, what gives her fulfillment is her children. All the other things that people are flying over the place, her own is she has raised amazing children. That's the only thing she finds fulfilling. So is it possible that westernization, we have sold our culture who we are? Because India will tell you that we were colonized, but we did not allow them to bring their culture. Yeah. We had our own identity of who we are, but we accepted their modernization. So could we have accepted the modernization without accepting their culture and way of life?
Good. And I'm just saying, in the world we evolve. So we have gotten to this point now where people are asking. So like the conversation of feminism today is people are saying, my own feminism is different from yours. Your feminism was about empowerment, about able to go to work and earn your money. My feminism is saying that I have a choice to be that woman that is out there making the money, doing the work, or being at home and being taken care of. That is where we are in modern times now. We're at a stage where we're looking at the way it used to be, the way it is now, and thinking, you know what, I would like to have something maybe just in the middle. I'm now empowered, but also I'm willing to, step back for something. And it is my right and my choice.
When it comes to you, do you think that feminism idea came because of this confusion? The fact that we went away from the original plan, because we are constantly finding the solution, finding how to fix it. A problem starts, fix it, we are evolving. If we had just gone to the original plan, it's supposed to be kept being cared, maybe we would have been this way where we are constantly finding a solution.
I'm confused. We were not meant to stick with everything that we felt was the system was created, and it was created to suit the time. Yeah. So the confusion we are facing now is because we need to take the time to create a system that will work for us.
Why is it a confusion?
So the conversation the question you asked, Mariam, for me is that even men are in that space. you know, once you become very accomplished, there's a confusion that happens when it comes to finding love after hitting a particular height of success. So the confusion is, do they love me or my money, or does this person love me for who I am or what I have? It happens to both men and women, especially when you focus on career. Another part of that is the fact that you have gotten so much exposure. You have attained a particular level of enlightenment that it's very difficult to overlook some things. You look at it like, no, I can't take that.
Chicken and chips.
And that can also lead to another side of confusion. So it's important that we give people the opportunity to realize they are your mate. There are people that are your level. You just need to, your wealth, your connection, you went to Harvard, there are men that went to Harvard that can marry you. And it's your reality to choose that I want to marry at this level. Or you can say, I'm creating my reality, I will marry somebody that might not be at my level of enlightenment, and I'll upgrade the person. Don't let society, because most of the time we're making sure to society, how will they look at me when I now marry that kind of person? What will people say?
They hang out, they cannot speak English.
And they cannot speak English well. But if this person is going to support you and stand with you, then marry the person and whatever, level it up later, male or female.
So yeah, I wanted to go to the religion aspects, religion, modernization, westernization, blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to ask everybody to look around you. The people who brought the westernization to you, how are they handling the issues now? Are they not even more confused than you are? I strongly believe, it's my, this one that now as a child, you are naming your gender.
They are them.
You are naming your gender, you are calling God different things, that they are confused, they are very confused people. Then that's on one side, you know. On the other side, I really do not think that people are that confused, right? I don't think that. I think we just want to have the benefits and not collect the consequences. We want to take the good sides of this, but we don't know that everything is comes in polarities. There's always the negative and positive all in one package. So every decision that you make per time, there's always the negatives following it. It's like, let me give this instance. You finish cooking this amazing fried rice and everything, and you cover it for 3 days without warming it or putting it in the refrigerator. So you come back, that same fried rice that you have made will bring out worms, and you're wondering, where did the worms come from? The worms did not come from the outside, they came from within, because in that beautiful fried rice that you have, in it contains good and evil. And so because you made a decision to cover it, it's going to bring out the negative aspect. If you eat it, it will go into your body and give you the nutrients that you desire. Your decisions make it. So for me, I think people should just so it's not like I want to bash religion, but I feel that it's really.
Let me take a related comment to this, because somebody said that, hi Mariah, my auntie delayed in marriage because she didn't want her, because the Bible said that you should not be unequally yoked with unbelievers, and she refused to marry her man. After a few years, the man still wanted to marry her, and she ended up being the second wife. So today she's happily married, and they have 3 children, and she's still happy, and she's a Christian. And
she's still a Christian.
She's a Christian. He's a Muslim, and she's the second wife. So now it goes to that religious part, because that person now, her counterpart, maybe her friend, who were in church together, and we say you cannot be unequally yoked, which is the truth. That's what the Bible says. Many of us are Christians, but when you say for me, let's not analyze the Bible. I don't want us to analyze the Bible.
It's about your faith. But I like to use it for many things. I like to use it for your mindset and your mentality. I like to use it for your education and your exposure. I know sometimes it may come across as being of but you see that it's important. The way that religion works, where I see this happen a lot, Christian mother, Muslim father, is because our culture sort of also gives you a cushion. So even if the Christianity says you cannot marry someone of different faith, you can rely on culture and society that says, well, a man can marry more than one wife, and so you find safety in culture, that the principles of culture would sort of give you that protection. Yes, but I understand what it means by being unequally yoked. And then, as you said, when people get older, they make different decisions. But I wanted to go back, right, to this conversation of changes and what we've been terming as confusion. I don't see it that way. I see it as growth. Whether we like it or not, if we move from point A to point B, you've gone into a new horizon. You will see things differently. You have the what they call the advantage of hindsight, and then a little bit of where you're headed, and then you come up with conversations and questions and how to answer them. It is not confusion. That's the only way the world has grown and evolved. And I feel that women today have a lot to be grateful for those questions and those moves that women before us had to make. Today we're seated at a table because some women refuse to just sit in a home and just be that only. Today we have our children going off to schools, our female children being in the same class as our sons because some women insisted. Right. So it is not a confusion. What society has done, because I know we like to bash society, and maybe now we're bashing Christianity and bashing religion, is that when you have like so many questions and things happening and people are confused where to go, where society or institutions have come in place is to say, okay, there's just too much questions right now, too much. We are today, and we are all having this conversation, and we will move from there.
Let me take a few comments on social media. We have to involve our viewers. Go ahead.
Culture. Let me take when we say we left culture, we were leaving culture because of westernization. And whenever you talk about this thing, we think about India, because the Indian template is a template that has worked. Statistics in America shows that the Indian community have the lowest divorce rates of all.
Yeah.
And that's because they, despite being colonized or whatever form of colonization happens, they are the next. They held on to their culture. They arrange their marriages. You like it, you yap them, they cry, they arrange them. Even if you fall in love, they will check if your families can match, because they prioritize the unity of the families, and that has kept marriages. What's the result of that? They get to go to school, they are more successful. Look at all the top Fortune 500 company. Indians are at the top of that game. So we also need to go back, and we need to, that's part of creating. As a country, we need to create what kind of what's the template we want to use. Yes. Because it seems like we don't know which one we are doing. Any breeze that blow, we follow. Yes,
but that's the luxury of being able to tell the story from the outside. Because this story that you have painted, we have seen. If you just try and enter social media, Indian social media, if you see the tears that they cry, because of this arrangement, then
we still crying.
That's what I'm saying. Nothing is perfect. Nothing is
so, but they now pick the perfection you choose. Let's take a comment.
I have
Oladidi says African culture is someone born you, so you must born someone. Or you both don't care whether they have children or not.
Timilai says changing reality unexpected is a very difficult task. No matter how strong you are, if someone else comes for your partner, you definitely feel it to the bones in your body. Except you're already waiting and expecting it. It's not easy at all.
Maria says reality is what is real within and outside. Faking it to be accepted by the public is not a definition of reality.
Okay. Akomeno says Christianity never says a man cannot marry a second wife. That's not God's law, but English common law. It says do not convert you, and then it says do not covert.
Fiona says Auntie
your neighbor's wife, not your neighbor's husband.
Fiona says Auntie Mariah, even in church, some people still give birth for married men. Is a choice.
So you see, one of the reasons why we wanted to have this conversation, a lot of these immoralities happen.
Yeah.
We all just pretend and look at the other way and say, oh, we're Christians, oh, we're Muslims, but we do these things. And it's important that we need to face the conversations and let us birth the reality we want. And what is normal? What is right? What are we trying to do? How do we preserve our society? How do we encourage men who are of marriageable age to get married on time? How do we encourage women who are of marriageable age to find love? That these are areas societies must help give women and men options to choose, because sometimes if it's so straitjacket as it is today, many people will still fall by the wayside. But what we're saying is that how do we broaden the options where everybody at some point can find that fulfillment with the kind of fulfillment they choose to have? That's really what this conversation is about. Let's take a few more comments on social media.
Oluwambe Lai says, I want to disagree with the fact that some people are not destined for marriage. What we're having is people producing bad marriage. The person should work on his or herself and try to know why her or his marriage is failing.
Mount Rushmore says, there is life beyond this, our earthly life. Life may not be a bed of roses. In trying to be happy, you must be careful not to fall out of heavenly race. Mount Rushmore said, when you divorce your husband, are you ready to remain single for the rest of your life? To do otherwise is to engage in adultery, which will lead to hell fire. So you should think about it very well.
What do women want in a marriage?
Is
it just to be married, or is it that...
Okay, see, that's a fantastic question, because people are in marriages for different reasons. You see, unfortunately, many marriages didn't start with the right foundation.
Yeah.
Some entered it just because it was arranged. Some entered because society said we have to get married at this time. Some actually did fall in love. So those who are just entering it because somebody arranged it, they get to that fulfillment stage. You know what? I've accomplished everything they wanted me to accomplish. It's time for me to go.
I have.
Hasta la vista, I gotta go. I gotta move on. I want to go live my life as a single woman, fulfilled. Let me not have to have to with anybody. So different strokes for different people.
Some still getting arranged and then fall in love.
Yeah.
The idea back in the day is you're not supposed to, even back in scriptures, you're not supposed to know this person. You just arrange, you get there, you start falling, you grow into it. So the man provides that conducive environment for the woman, and the woman begins to fall in love and nurture and hold her household. So you know this idea of I must love first. We have looked at it. Is the loving first working for some people? It's not working for some people. Sometimes they've collected all the things you want to offer before you enter the house. When you now enter, in the next 6 months, 3 years, like I've known this woman for 100 years. For some people, you finish collecting all the things, you enter, and then they are still seeing new things that they are collecting. So everybody must find their peace.
Self-awareness is very important. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
But it's not not everyone had the luxury of self-awareness before getting married.
Yeah.
Some people did not know. And it is when they got married that their eyes opened. You know, so you might not know what you want.
Maybe we'll be self-aware together.
Yes, and then you grow in that journey together. But Mariah, this topic has opened a lot of conversation for many people, and I really hope that people will be willing to don't listen to your view today and be pointing, I don't agree, I agree. It is decide for yourself which one. At this point in time, you're in your 50s and you're single, you can decide that, hey, am I really living based on my own perspective, or I'm living based on what society has expected me to do?
Am I the one driving my red car, or somebody's driving my life?
If what I really want is to have a child, you've listened to the show now, you can decide, I'll go and freeze my eggs and I'll take that decision. I'm not going to keep waiting for long, but have that conversation with yourself, a deep conversation to decide for your own self what you want to do.
Glory Ego says polygamy is African while monogamy is Western. Monogamy hasn't worked for them, while polygamy works for us Africans. Let's embrace our culture. It's the best.
Even the Bible, somebody was like, even the Bible did not say that everybody should have one wife. People have that conversation, but we just...
My uncle, oh my goodness, he's like, he's
a template. You share his testimony over and over again.
I'm sure he's watching because he never misses the show. Man, I went to go and see him recently because my other uncle had passed on. You know, the guy is lounging. I remember this guy. He was the roughest, was the uncle that, uncle, why was this person? He's over the place, guy. But now he has calmed down, got multiple wives. One is he doesn't stress himself. It works for him. Whoever comes today, if you're happy, tomorrow you're not happy, they are all servicing him properly. And he's happy, and he's servicing them very well. So the man is happy. He's fulfilled. I'm thinking of all of us are doing, hey, woman.
You're also happy in your own space. So everybody can be happy.
I'm just telling you that you can be happy in a woman. Yes, polygamy.
You can be.
You can also be happy like monogamy.
You can be crying.
Can we be happy in polyandry?
I don't know why they don't say that.
There are people in patriarchal society. They won't say that.
But you can also be crying in monogamy and be crying, and another person is also crying in polygamy. So going into polygamy does not guarantee happiness, and being monogamous does not guarantee happiness.
Monogamy guarantees more happiness than polygamy.
It guarantees
and that's how I end
peace.
my own.
Yes, monogamy brings more peace. That's the reason many people find it more comfortable, because you're already facing enough battles one-on-one than to have a second wife putting in more words.
If you look at
other children,
that's it.
Well, I don't know. This conversation is
wide. Peace.
Because you think of, okay, so if we have a whole lot of generation of young girls who are probably having to go online to freeze eggs and just finding a sperm to, we have lots of children
that are single.
Yes. So now we have that. We have that huge generation of men not being fathers. Children have been growing up without their fathers, and we now have a whole society. When that problem now comes, as you said, we have now evolved and a new problem. And how we manage that problem.
Statistics from the US shows that in the next 10 years, the average 45-year-old woman will be single, unmarried, and
yes,
very high
I've seen
ranking.
that. They have
So
that's where we are going.
They are seeing the numbers that more women, almost like half of women, would be at 45.
They said this is our generation. We
yes.
have the largest number of women who are unmarried, adult women who are accomplished and unmarried.
Yeah.
Hey, that's our.
And everybody just so we need to choose. So if you are choosing that,
you can see us. We are fulfilled and we are.
We don't even need men in very soon. In the next 20, 30 years, we might not need men again.
Spam donor.
But we'll just be. I'll rather because our children might get to the point whereby. Listen, guys, I'm not even interested in dating. All this is too hard.
So hold on.
Let me go and buy, spend, and move on.
We need to decide as a culture. We need to decide as a culture what we want. We cannot allow breeze to blow us. So there are cultures in Asian communities where you dare not marry outside. What you will go to jail. That is the way that they have preserved their culture. Preserved preserved their people. Preserved their human beings. Jewish preserved themselves. Their society is better for it.
Yes,
we need to decide. We cannot follow these Yoruba people. They are confused people.
Hey, you won't travel. You don't travel.
I get those already. They can't
get visa. No trying. Yeah, so they look for visa.
They can't take it.
I agree with you in America. You're very correct. I gotta go, guys. So I think that's all we can take on station. For a few comments. We have few seconds left.
Monogamy doesn't guarantee peace when either party is toxic. That's from Lady Tem. Queen B says, check your reality and decide what will truly make you happy, not from societal perspective.
Amen.
That polyandry nonsense doesn't work in Nigeria. I don't understand why Marian keeps repeating that.
I don't understand. Let me help us ask her.
You have to know there is an option. When you keep saying make a marry.
One says, Abi, some of your view ladies' hobbies are thinking of getting second wife. I don't know. When we get home, we'll ask them. Corey says, because this life is very short too. You close eye, open eye, 50 don't reach, just na. I go shock you. Andrew says, the rate of infidelity amongst Indian women is astronomical. That's another aspect of it. Yeah.
Okay, well, we have to run up. So I think that's all we can take on today's show. But really, as I said, it's all about you. You decide what you want. But the truth is that society must decide as a nation how we're going to help every member of society to find fulfillment in different ways. So abroad, they create platforms, you can do this, they give you options, co-parenting, different scenarios are painted. But here, we need to formalize some of these structures so that everybody can find fulfillment at some point. That's all. Happy Eid al-Fitr.
Yes, so
this is not the one we eat right now. But we still go and visit one.
This is the one we celebrate with Nima.
Have a fabulous. Also, I've greeted all the Fuja family members. Love you guys. Happy, enjoy, happy festivities. God bless you. See you guys on Monday. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.